Hello there and welcome back to the channel. I want to first start off by saying, thank you to everyone's love, support, condolences for the loss of my two brother-in-laws within the past few months. I really want to say thank you for all of that, all the outpouring of prayers and things like that. It always helps. And so the foxbody community has really stepped up in our behalf, and I really appreciate it. Thank you. So now on to what I wanted to talk about today is, well, let's just say being ripped off by shops like I was. I was very hesitant to do this video at first, but
I did.
There was a couple of comments about, I should really name the shop and this, that, and the other to prevent other people from going there. I've had several comments like that. So the outpouring in that regard has been a lot. And at first I wasn't going to do that because I wanted to keep my own integrity and take the high road, if you will. But the more that I think about it, the more that I realize that, I really don't want anybody else to be victimized by this shop. It's not like I spent $500 there and they did me wrong, but in the course of time, I spent thousands of dollars there, and my vehicle was not treated properly. It was done wrong, and I was done wrong for that matter. Just to give you a list of what I had them do, that took them 2 years, would probably should only took them maybe 6 months, if it's a professional shop. But here's a list of what was done to the Rustic Fox, okay? It had a Edelbrock RPM2 upper lower intake, Ford Performance Street Cruiser, X2 aluminum heads, 1.6 roller rockers, and those were Proform, by the way. Ford Performance B303 cam, BBK equal length headers, off-road H-pipe, spec stage 2 clutch, Tremec heavy duty world class T5 transmission, aluminum drive shaft, and of course the timing chain, water pump, radiator. I had the heater core replaced along with the evaporator core replaced for the AC. 3.73 gears, 31 spline axles with 3-inch studs, Mega Squirt PNP standalone ECU, and a high torque mini starter. So they did all that to the car, along with taking it to the alignment shop and this and that. So that took them the course of about 2 years. So when I go to test drive the car, it doesn't run right. And then they give me the car back after I complain. They give me the car back and they're like, take the car, the bill's square. And I paid them off. On the way home, as I stated in the other video, was that the car actually died several times coming home. So I made the video that you guys saw about not getting screwed, and then I get a call from them and they want the car back to try to make things right. So I take the car back to them, and then they keep the car, I think about maybe another month and a half. I get the car back in the same condition. They literally done nothing to the car. At one point they had the car on their dyno, and this is after all the mods that I just told you that they put in, along with the Mega Squirt ECU. These people had the car on the dyno, they dynoed the car, and they told me, well, it only puts out 198 horsepower. Well, that's pretty much what the stock was at the time. So when you do these mods, as most of us understand, that you expect some sort of horsepower increase. I had discussions with them through the course of this build, asking them, are you sure it's not going to have blow-by? Oh no, it's not going to have blow-by, this, that, and the other. The engine's in good shape, it has a good block and this, that, and the other. Well, they told me that the car had blow-by. So we had a discussion about that. Well, they wouldn't fix that. You know, digressing back to the horsepower. Well, I would think with these mods that I would expect, you know, at least, let's say 250, you know, 225, whatever, you know, some kind of increase, not the same, that is for sure. So then they put it back on their dyno, and then they ran it so hard that the guy called me and said, we've been trying to program the Mega Squirt and trying to do these different things, and it's actually smoking on the dyno. Well, at that point, I'm like, you know what? Just take it off the dyno. I'll take it back myself and I'll work on it. So anyway, that's pretty much the way things happen. And the name of the shop, well, let me get a drink here first. The name of the shop is Fast Specialties. It's in Vancouver, Washington, up here. If you look up their website, it's fastspecialties.com, and you should be able to find the name of the shop, their phone numbers there and everything. But with all honesty, I would never patronize them ever again. I would never take anything to them, not even for an oil change, for the way they did me. I'm only doing this because I don't want anyone else to be victimized. You know, so if you see this video, please do not go to this shop. Hey, I'm back. There's a couple of things that I think I forgot to explain. With the Rustic Fox, as you guys know, the clutch cable went bad, along with, I mentioned about the starter. Well, the starter, they installed the starter wrong, so it was misaligned, causing it not to start. And also, there are other things wrong with it, like the rocker, one of the rockers on the driver's side is ticking, or was ticking, I should say. The headers, I think, were leaking, not installed properly, in which I managed to get that straight myself. There's other miscellaneous things that were just horribly wrong with the car. Some of the things, some of the bolts weren't tightened on there properly. Just found other things like that. Also, I wanted to share with you some of the experiences that I heard really quick from other people who have patronized that company. Like, for instance, one of the people had mentioned that they blew up one of their engines on the dyno. Like, and they went through, I think it was, he said 3 engines. So you're looking at, they blew up one engine, and then they charged him for another engine. They installed that, they blew that engine up, and then he had to buy another one. And they even didn't put that one in correctly. And then now that engine has a knock and has to be replaced. But that car has been taken to a different shop altogether. And also there was an instance where they had installed, I believe it was a Pro Charger or something like that on one of the cars, and they didn't pin the crank, and the harmonic balancer flew off and damaged the engine and did body damage under the car. So as you can tell, they do work that is very shoddy, and they charge you for things that they shouldn't charge you for. So when you think about the cost of an engine, well, you're looking at thousands of dollars that they charge this person, and they didn't have to do that if they had just done it right the first time. So you might be thinking to yourself, what lessons have you learned? Well, for one thing, I've learned that DIY, doing things yourself, is of the utmost importance, hence bought not built. Or excuse me, built not bought. I said it backwards. I'm so sorry. Anyway, built not bought, right? So anyway, and no, I'm not drunk. So anyway, above all else, I think doing things yourself is always the best way, and it should be done that way. And so the only reason why I took it to the shop is because, number one, I don't have a garage. I only have a carport. I don't have the specialized tools to be able to do some of the work. And so I figured, you know what, maybe I'll take it to the shop and they can actually do it for me. And as you can tell, they really screwed it up. They basically stole my money. And so I could have done the work myself over time, probably in less time than they kept my car. So what I learned from that is DIY if you can. And if you make the mistakes on your own vehicle, well, then you made the mistake and you can correct the mistake. You will have only lost a little bit of money and a little bit of time, perhaps, and you can correct the mistake yourself. At least you can trust yourself to do your work on your vehicle. That is the whole point. And if you don't know how to do it, man, there's plenty of videos on how to do whatever you are doing, whether it be from me or be from Brutal or the Infamous Project or, Big Stick Stings, Paul the Fox. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. The people who DIY. So whatever you don't know how to do, you can figure it out. And if you mess it up, well, at least you messed it up. And you can take the pride into repairing it yourself. That is the whole point. That's what I have personally learned. And, thinking about it, like the Black Widow, if you can find a reputable shop, do the research behind it, go to the shop frequently, interview the person before you take your car there, look at their history, look at the comments and things like that, really dig in depth, to see if these people know what they're talking about. Well, where the Black Widow is now, it's Blue Oval Performance, and man, they are top notch, straight up. They know how to tune, they know how to really work on these cars. They specialize working on these cars since the 90s. Chung knows his business. This I know. And the reason why I took the Black Widow there instead of doing it myself is because, to me, the Black Widow is like my show car, right? So I want nothing but the proper hands, the proper work, and the proper facility to put hands on that vehicle and do it correctly for me. That car, to me, is that's how I want it to be done for that vehicle, if that makes sense. And so that is what I have chosen to do with that car. Now, after the car is home and we've gone to shows, of course, there's gonna be some things that I DIY on that vehicle. There'll be videos on it and other things like that. Now, to talk about the channel. Well, obviously you guys understand that, OG Superfly Garage is not just a foxbody channel. However, it is what we specialize in. It is the vehicles that I love, the vehicles that I really know how to work on, it's the vehicles that I know. And so, but I do work on other vehicles, so that content will also be on the channel, and has been on the channel, because I enjoy actually working on all vehicles, and I teach where I can, like most of us who have channels. So with that said, do not patronize Fast Specialties. Do not go to them. You will get screwed in the long run. I guarantee it. So with that said, I hope everybody has a wonderful day. Thank you for listening. I appreciate the talk. Hopefully things are more clear now. If there's any more questions about anything, please leave it in the comments and try to be respectful about it, and you'll get a respectful answer. That's the bottom line. I always try to answer all the comments that are left. So, oh, and before I forget, we can talk about that later perhaps. Well, I don't know, maybe I should say it now, but the Rustic Fox has been sold.
Oh no, this can't be.
And there was a reason behind that, and it was for family matters, for family reasons, that the Rustic Fox had to be sold. So the Rustic Fox was sold. Does that mean that we'll solely be with the Black Widow for now? Yeah, of course. But in the future, you never know. The Rustic Fox may come back this way, or it may not. Maybe there'll be a different one we can start from scratch on and truly DIY that ourselves and see where we can go with it. So until next time, peace and love to everybody, and you guys have a wonderful evening. I'm out.